incredible true story and transformation of the man who saved the world. Y'all already know why we're here. We're here to talk about Logic's sophomore effort, the true incredible story. Before we even get into it, I'm super geeked about this album. Amazing body of work. Now, before we even get into the actual, album and how it sounded and all that, let's just go on ahead and take time out and actually praise the people who was a part of this album packaging. I know that Logic has his hand in the whole thing. Let me just show you the album packaging, because I actually bought the actual hard copy. Like I've said in a lot of my videos, I'm not a big fan of digital music. It's something, that feels good about actually going to the store, buying the record, opening it up, looking at the booklet. So I definitely had to get the physical copy of this one. Now just look at this. This is the front cover. Then you flip it flips backwards both ways. Then you have the full picture that has been circulating around the internet since he announced his new album was coming out. Now you get into it, you have another panoramic picture of the same one that's on the front cover. And it basically gives you kind of a little backstory on the story that Logic wrote for the album and all that, and basically the story that takes place inside of the album. Then you have the regular booklet. You flip it on one side and it's a picture of Logic in a space uniform, which looks to be something kind of, rocky or whatever, I guess, to give the, illusion of a new planet or whatever the case may be. And then, of course, you got all your album credits and songwriting and all that good stuff. Now, Logic definitely told a story in this album as well. This album is a conceptual album, of course. This story takes place 100 years from now in 2115. And basically, the story is about telling about Earth and how Earth has been destroyed by humanity and is basically unlivable at the moment. So a space pilot, Quentin Thomas, and his partner William Kai basically go on this mission on a spaceship or whatever to find this new planet called Paradise, and it's actually supposed to be able to house humans and all that good stuff. And basically at the beginning of the record, it basically tells, Quentin Thomas is talking to his partner Kai, and he said, hey, I just listened to Logic's first album, Under Pressure, on the ride over here. It's super dope. And then Kai's like, heck yeah, he's dope. So what you gonna listen to now? He says, I'm about to pop in a second one as we speak. And so Kai basically replies and said, well, this is the album that changed everything. So I'm thinking that Logic is basically kind of, foreshadowing what is expected of this album to do, and kind of predicting what this album is going to be to the hip-hop culture. Not to mention they have this cool interface thing called Talia, and it's basically unisex. It can turn from a girl to a boy, and it can have like real conversations with you. And not only that, but it can also imitate anybody in history. So in the story, the Quentin Thomas say basically you can choose from Jesus Christ, Steve Jobs, or whoever the case may be. His partner Kai wants to hear Big Sean, so of course we have a little feature by Big Sean where he comes in and say, hey, you little bitch, and talking to Kai, or whatnot. And I just said, man, this is super dope. And so the guy was like, man, that's dope. I gotta upgrade my ship as well. Now, what is amazing about this album is the fact that the story behind the album is written by Logic himself, and he also serves as an executive producer this time around on his album. So he had full creative control. And not to mention, he produced 50% of the album. He produced 9 out of the 18 tracks and helped co-produce on there, not to mention writing lyrics and just being all together involved. Now, one thing I love about this album, Logic stayed true to what the first album sounded like as well. This album, it definitely is a fusion of hip-hop, jazz, and neo-soul in my personal opinions. I think it's just a collaboration of all three of those efforts put together to just make one big body of work. And I like that Logic kind of kept with what we know him for and kind of kept with what made Under Pressure, in my personal opinion, a classic. Now, the production on this album is freaking sick. The production, when you put it in, if you listen to like in a car or listen to it with like some good headphones on, this sounds like you're really at a motion picture. You feel like literally you're at the movies. You're just not seeing anything, but you hear it has the clarity and just the crisp cleanness from seamlessness of the beats and everything and all the production all together. It sounds like you're in a movie. Now y'all know I give y'all some of my standout tracks, and of course I have my 3 standout tracks for you guys today. My first one is Intermission. And Intermission, to me, it was a real neo soul kind of feel to it. I love Lucy Rose on the hook. I think she sounded amazing. It reminds me, of a track that, Tribe Called Quest could have done or whatnot. And basically in the song, he's kind of, just talking about life and stuff like that. And, what I kind of got from the song is basically saying that in the end, he knew that music was going to be his destiny. And it's kind of one of those records where he kind of sits back and reflects on life and like, I dropped out of school and stuff like that, but look at me now. I'm doing what I love. I'm doing music. I'm touching a lot of people. And, at the end of the day, that's the great thing about it. Now, my next standout track is City of Stars. Now, City of Stars is basically a song that's directed towards all the naysayers, the haters, the people who thought that, hey, Logic cannot do this. Logic ain't nothing. He's trash. He's garbage. It's directed to all those people. And it basically, just basically says that, I'm on my second album. People really love the first one. And, people want to hear what I gotta say. Not to mention, he calls out his own record label, Def Jam. He basically says in the song that, Def Jam undershipped his first album, Under Pressure, but the album still sold a significant amount of records just because the fans were so serious about getting his music. So he basically says, hey, y'all undershipped me, but y'all realize on the second album that, hey, people want to hear Logic, so we got to put some money, we got to put the time behind him. And I think that could possibly be true, because looking back to last year when Under Pressure came out, I could not find that record on a hard disk anywhere in my area, but I was able to go to the first store I found, the first Target or Best Buy that I found, and it was sitting right there on the shelf, and it was a nice quantity of them too. So I guess Def Jam definitely got the memo this time around and said, hey, you know what, we got to put some money behind our guy. In this song, he also talks about, him being biracial and effects on his career. So a lot of people, naysayers and haters and like, he's not Eminem, he's trash, and he can't really just do real hip hop. So he basically says to those people, all those people that doubted me, look here now, we're on our second album and counting. Now my last standout track on this album is Run It. Run It, Run It, Run It. That record to me is a very funny record for a lot of reasons. I mean, the flow is sick. The lyrics are dope, and I think this is his cockiest track on the album. Basically in this song, he letting everybody know that he the shit. He let people know, hey, listen here, I'm running this. My flow is not duplicated. I'm carving my own lane. I have my own sound. He's basically letting everybody know why he is that guy. So, I mean, I'm just like, man, and then the lyrics and the music just coincide and mesh together so well. And I'm like, man, he was just going off, and it also reminded me of kind of like a nice freestyle, because it was like, it felt so authentic, like he was just going off the dome. I don't know if he wrote this down on a pad or not, but it just felt like he was going off the dome when he was writing this record or whatnot, and just went in the booth and said, listen here, y'all give me a nice 16, I'm gonna kill it. And he killed it. 3 verses, and they all was dope, they all was fire. And I think that this is one of the dopest records on the album. Now, I don't even have to say that I like this album. I love this album. I love this album because I think that it's definitely what we need in hip hop, of course. And I think that he was able to, bring what we like Logic for and stuff like that. Bring that same energy, that same sound, but, basically have it on steroids. Basically just elevated it up in the air and just made it 10 times better, 20 times better over and stuff like that. So you can pop this album in, you can go from start to finish, you don't have to skip a track. Every track flows seamlessly together, as well as the skits, and the songs kind of act out what is going on in the skits as well as vice versa. Production is amazing. Big ups to Mr. Logic. I think that this record right here is basically going to put him on the map as being one of the dopest MCs in the game. So I need all of y'all to go out there and support Logic. Go out, buy the physical copies, buy it on iTunes, buy it anywhere that you buy music from. Please go out there and support him so he can do even better numbers this time around. Well, that's all I got for y'all today. Now, before you get out of here, please click that thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. My channel is The Manny Corner, where I put up new videos all the time. And if you like this album review and you know want to see more, please go ahead, subscribe, and check them out. And also tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend and get them to come over so they can also check out and, you know, get in on the D's. All right, well, as always, I'm your boy Manny Ezo. The channel is The Manny Corner, and I'll see y'all in the next video. All right, peace, have a good one.